Hello everyone and welcome. Hope you all are doing amazing this Monday. All right, so today we are going to be discussing about three different topics. Okay, the first one it's going to be about the shadow net and the shadow drive, and we'll take a look at some of the use cases or like some of the products that people are building on top of it, and we'll discuss what it is as well. And then, as you know, like Solana Pay, we'll just touch on the progress and the stuff what's going on in the Solana Pay side of the world. And the third thing is just some personal news. All right, so stay tuned. Let's go. All right, so the first one is, like I mentioned, the Shadow Drive. Okay, so and just before we get started, just make sure like all the links are going to be in the description of the video. So make sure to check that out and let's go. All right, so the shadow drive, what is it? Like, we have discussed in great detail in my previous video. If you go to a playlist that I have on my YouTube channel, and you will find we have discussed all about this, the vision of the shadow network, and right now it's already launched and people are building on it. Okay, so basically it's a decentralized storage solution which is optimized for Solana. It's built on Solana. It's built into Solana. Actually, it's like the hard drive of Solana, let's say. And basically, this is not just optimized for Solana, but it is going to be optimized for other chain as well, which, as the product develops, they're going to have support for all other chains as well. Other chains can actually use this service to actually store their data and have an end-to-end decentralization of all their dApps and all of that stuff. Okay, so one would not need to use like AWS or like Google Bigtable or like, you have Microsoft Cloud Services and so on and so forth. You don't have to use all those centralized services. You could use like Shadow Drive, and the performance is going to be good because it's built on Solana, which is a very performant blockchain, a global state machine. And of course, like I'm really excited and looking forward to this development, as I've always been, with Shadow project itself. All right. So, anyways, the Shadow project, the Shadow Drive, it's by Genesis Go, who also owns the Shadowy Supercoder NFT, as you're aware of. Okay, so they are building this shadow drive, and not just them, it's all the community can build on top of it, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this they just published this Medium article a few days back, and I mean you can go ahead and read all about it, and you can get a lot more information about that. All right, so if you go to the Twitter profile, they have a pinned tweet right here, okay, which describes the Shadow Drive as like, Shadow Drive is Solana's first native decentralized storage layer powered by Shadow. And what is Shadow? SHDW, it's that token. Okay, so you will most probably be paying to upload or to use Shadow Drive. You'll most probably be paying using Shadow tokens. Okay, and S Drive, as I mentioned over here, the Shadow Drive provides, what does it provide? It provides faster upload speeds, bundles multiple uploads into a single transaction. Okay, that's great, and has an integrated network layer for serving requests for different types of applications and so on and so forth. But if you are a developer, or if you just want to read about like how it's being built and what is being built in greater detail, I would highly suggest go on to the Gitbook, okay, shadow.genesisgo.com. Okay, so just go to this website, which is the Gitbook, and they're going to explain all about it. Okay, so let's see, and it's a living document, so I mean, of course, there are like different updates while they come, they update it over here. So you can go ahead and check the entire ecosystem, what they're planning to build, and so on and so forth, what's being built. But if you just scroll down a bit, you will see like yesterday they mentioned, so right now the Shadow Drive uploads are limited to batches of 5 uploads per transaction because of the Solana on-chain bottlenecks and so on and so forth. Like maybe if you do too much, the transaction fails and so on and so forth. But that's due to the current bottlenecks. And Solana itself, the core protocol, it's going to be upgraded with different um, optimization. One of that is quick, and once that is rolled out, and in combination with Shadow Drive, by Genesis Go, it will increase the actual packet size, okay? And you will be able to upload like a 10K collect of like NFTs in less than a minute. So a 10K collection of like NFTs is basically like a collection of like a minting collection, which is listed on Magic Eden and so on and so forth. So the capacity is going to be more, and this quick, I'll elaborate on that a bit more further. It's an optimization, it's built by Google and so on and so forth. It's an open source project, and it just enhances the Solana network itself to make it much more performant type of like state machine. All right, so that is being done, and it will increase the capacity in the near future. And of course, in the future, there's going to be more implementation, more capacity, and so on and so forth. All right, so go ahead and check that out as well. But now, coming into the use case, you'd be asking like, hey, what can people do with this shadow drive and so on and so forth. Okay, so as we know, like Google, we know how to use Google Drive. What do we do with Google Drive? You can upload like anything on Google Drive, and it's just going to store it for you. Google is going to store it for you. All right, but in this case, there's a decentralized network which is run by like operators and like the shadow nodes and shadow RPC servers and so on and so forth. So these are distributed geographically and also in a decentralized manner. So Shadow Drive is almost the same, but right now they just have a command line interface, which is CLI, people call it, and it's user friendly, but it's for developer experience friendly, let's say. But it's not. It's like a retail person who just want to click buttons and just upload files. It's not very convenient for them because you need to run some commands and so on and so forth. Okay, so basically, one of those guys from the community who's a shadow operator himself, and it's called Noxtrade. Shout out to him. And he went ahead and he built this just prototype like a UI, like a user interface, and you can go to shadow.noxdata.com and you'll see this website. And let's just go ahead and check that out. What is there? Let's see. All right. So basically, yeah. So it's just an interface where you can just connect your wallet. It detects your Solana wallet, and you can basically go ahead and upload files. You can, it says over here, let's see, it asks me for, let's see. Let's go ahead. So basically, it's like a user interface where it's very familiar. You can choose files from your computer and so on and so forth, and you can directly upload it. Okay, you click the button, and you may need to wait like 60 to 120 seconds, and you will be provided out with a URL itself. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, and this is just the first application. They're just converting the CLI into a much more user-friendly interface. So people like you and I, we can go ahead and do that. Of course, feel free to go ahead and upload it through your command line itself. There's no one stopping. All right. So, anyways, so that's great to see, and there's been a lot of enthusiasm around like the whole project itself. But one of the companies, they are doing a very interesting thing, okay, which I just noticed. Okay, if you go to Twitter and um, the company is called, or the project, let's say it's called like the Storing Company, and they are basically building on top of the Shadow Drive, just like Knox Trade did. He built a UI, but these guys have built a nice looking UI, and you can also share your files on chain, and it's built on top of Solana, on top of like the Shadow Drive itself. Okay, so as you can see over here, they posted some of the videos. But let's just go ahead and see like what it looks like. Okay, so if they posted the link to their user interface, which is something like this. So basically, let's say if I want to select the file, I go ahead and select the file. You connect your wallet. I think, I'm trying this for the first time. I haven't tried this yet, but probably you need to have like the shadow token itself, okay, in your wallet to pay for the storage fee and so on and so forth. Okay, so I haven't tried this yet, or maybe it's not functional right now. I just saw it yesterday. Okay, so and that's why I'm just sharing with you, but for sure it's going to come because as you can see, they are posting some of the videos. We will take a look at that. So if you take a look at this video, as you can see, it's selecting a file and then it's clicking on upload, and there comes like a transaction, and you need to go and approve it. You need to basically sign the transaction, and uploading to shadow drive 70 seconds. We're just going to skip forward and see what happens. All right, so basically it's supposed to generate a link. Okay, there you go. So that link is, you can share it with anyone, and you're good to go. People can see what you uploaded on the Solana blockchain. It's publicly viewable. Whoever has the link can see your files. It's just like Google Drive, right? Or any of your centralized cloud services. And it's just going to get better. Why? Because as you know, on the April 30th of April 2022, just a few days ago, there was some outage on Solana, and Solana, stopped, and they had to restart and so on and so forth. They just had to reboot their validator nodes and so on and so forth. It was because of the candy machine bots and so on and so forth, like the NFT side of things. So due to all of that, and this was like already an issue. If you remember, like Solana had many more outages in the past, and they are trying to come up with a solution to their core protocol itself. Okay, so one of that is going to be Quick, as I mentioned, along with like the shadow drive itself. And then Quick is basically, it's like an open source sort of a protocol which is related to UDP. UDP is nothing but like universal data data layer, let's say data protocol. Okay, so it's based on that, and it also has different types of features like the TCP, where you can control some of the bot activity and you can filter them out, and so on and so forth. But all these are going to be implemented, and it's going to enhance the performance of Solana itself, right? The second one, the upgrade which is going to come, is the stake-weighted transaction quality of service. Okay, so basically, Solana is a proof of stake chain. Okay, so I mean, just this is an extension to that feature. Okay, so it's basically not like first come first serve, but it's going to be more like the quality based service. Okay, so if let's see what they had to say. Leader network bandwidth has a fixed capacity, and to effectively use it, prioritization is a must. Okay, so it's basically mainly to prioritize different sorts of like transactions. Okay. Mhm. To the In order to end the current practice of indiscriminately accepting transaction on a first come first serve basis without regard of source. So it's basically you're prioritizing like different transaction, because if you know which source it's coming from, you know that transaction is credible and it needs to go first, instead of just sending first come first serve, when and then the bots come and they just flood the network and so on and so forth. So they're implementing all these different types of mechanics into the core protocol, and it's going to be implemented, in the next upgrade or in the next version, okay, which is version 1.0 or 1.11, I guess. I guess 1.0, but let's see. Uh, Yeah, version. Sorry, I don't think. Wait, one second. Yeah, it's going to be rolled out in like version 1.10. Okay, so that's great. Right now it's on testnet, and people are testing Quick, and I'll show you how you can actually go ahead and do that as well. Right, so with just a simple application, let's say. Okay, so stay quick, stay credit, quality of service, in order to prioritize different transaction based on their source, and also a fee market, like like a fee-based execution priority. Let's say your transaction, and this is very different. It's like it's not like how fee works on the Ethereum blockchain, which is like global, network itself, and it's not like universal. If the gas fees is high on Ethereum, it's going to be high throughout the network for all the users using the network. But in this case, it's going to be fee-based execution, is because if your transaction is of a higher priority, if you feel you're going to pay a higher fee for that transaction itself, other users are not affected by that priority of yours. Okay, so if you want to pay more, you can go ahead and pay more, and they're going to publish your transaction to the blockchain first. Okay, so all these important dynamics are going to come, and there's more to it. There's just like a simplified version what I just explained, but you get the idea. Okay, so it's basically like, yeah, so the content, let's just go through it. Once ingested, transaction can still content for modified shared account data. The contention has been dealt with a simple first come first serve, similarly to the network data ingestions, and leaving users no means to express urgency of the transaction execution. Given that anyone can submit transactions to the network, stake weighting is not suitable for prioritization. Instead, a new instruction is being introduced into the compute budget program, okay, offering users the ability to specify an arbitrary additional fee. So there's going to be a base fee, and then there's going to be an additional fee to be collected upon execution of the transaction and inclusion into the block. Okay, the ratio of this fee to the requested compute units will serve as the transaction execution priority weight. So yeah, so there's going to be a base fee like how it is right now, and then there's going to be an additional fee, which is the fee-based execution priority. So if you want to prioritize it more, you can go ahead and pay it as well. Okay, so for example, let's say there's an NFT mint and there's a lot of people and they want to mint and so on and so forth. So the fees for those sort of like transactions just based on that NFT mint is going to be higher. Okay, people who want to mint, they will need to go pay higher. Okay, but it's not going to affect the other people who are just transacting on the network. Let's say someone is paying using Solana Pay or something like that, or just making a transaction from one wallet to another. It's not going to affect them, or any other DeFi activities that people are doing. Okay, it's not going to affect that. It's just going to affect only the people who actually needs that prioritization. Okay, so that is those are the three upgrades. So just to quickly recap, quick stake weighted transaction QoS, which is based on like in order to actually have a better quality of service on the network layer, and also a fee market which is going to be introduced as well to mitigate different solutions. I think it's really great. Quick has been like it's been battle tested for years, and it's built by Google, open source. People contribute to it, so it's great, right? So now, so that was about what's going on the other side of like what's going on like with ShadowNet, the Shadow Drive by Genesis Go, and also like some of the core important changes what are going to be coming into the Solana network itself. Now, coming into one of the other critical important aspect or a niche, let's say, it's Solana Pay. And what is it about? Of course, I've touched on this in greater detail, but it's basically like a service where you can go ahead and make payments, like everyday payments, like Google Pay, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, you get it, right? So, I mean, it's just that, and I mean, they've been making serious progress. You can read about it on this blog article, and it's Solana Pay continues to reshape the world of payments, okay? And I mean, like, it's a no-brainer, for a merchant to just have like a QR code and accepting Solana payments or any other crypto payments, So I mean, you don't have like really high fees. Of course, like if you're transacting on Ethereum, I mean, it's a different story. But I mean, I'm sure like the Ethereum L2 is going to be much more efficient, and Solana Pay it runs on like Solana L1 itself. There's no L2 on Solana, so it works amazing. We have seen like examples in the past, and I mean there are a lot of videos online which shows how performance efficient Solana Pay is. Okay, so you can go ahead just do that as well. And also, what I think is the relation, Solana and Circle, they work very closely. Circle in the sense the creators of like the stablecoin USDC. As you know, like recently USDC, they were funded by like Fidelity and like BlackRock, about like 400 million investment into Circle, and this is just to because that's why I mentioned yesterday. It's the chosen one. I've not mentioned it yesterday. I've been mention it for a while, even before when I started YouTube and all that stuff. But it's been chosen by who, right? Like, of course, you know who, right? So I mean, so basically, it just and of course, you can use USDC on Solana native, and you can use that to pay for any services and stuff like that. And as you can see over here, just the metro inside the metro, you have all these in Switzerland. It's the dawn of a new currency, and they're advertising heavily. So keep an eye on this. Okay, I think stablecoin like USDC perfectly makes sense to be used like globally. So it's amazing to see that as well. And that's where I think Solana Pay is going to shine as well. Not just that, but like, collaboration improves adoption. So I mean, in that way. And also good to see some of the websites, like people are talking about it, as you know, I'm sure like you're aware of this, and this will change the world and all that stuff. I mean, of course, like the whole technology itself, like Web3 and crypto and all that, it's here to change the world. But like, I mean, it's amazing to see like, Solana Pay being used in like checkout carts and so on and so forth of different e-commerce sites. As you can see over here, this person just took a snapshot, Solana Pay right here. And 18, Solana is one of the service providers. They're basically, as you can see over here, they are set. You can set up your store, like your e-commerce store or whatever online store you have, with Agent to start accepting Solana Pay today. So you can go ahead and do that itself right now. And they're a very early project. They have a website over here, and their Twitter profile right here. They have it over here and all that stuff. So they don't have a Discord yet and all that, but it's coming soon, as they mentioned over here. That's cool. So these are the types of like use cases, like it actually adds value to real life activities, to real people, not just crypto people. Now, let's say if worldwide people start using Solana Pay or like any other crypto payments, and they can just go, with their phone, scan a QR code and just make the payment. Easy peasy. No banks, no intermediaries in between who's just gonna, take a cut from like the merchant itself, and the store owner or the business owner is just going to be directly you pay the fee to the network. It helps everyone in the network. Okay, so yeah, so agent is building a service on top of it. Yeah, so watch out for that. I'm going to share the link as well, of course, I mentioned. Now to some personal news. Yeah, I recently joined Chingari as a Web3 Chief Marketing and Growth Officer. So I'll be working with them, and they are basically like an app, a social media app, but they have the Web3 component attached to it, meaning in the sense like, let's say, you can look at it as a SoFi narrative. What do I mean by SoFi? SoFi is basically social media and finance, okay, together. And what type of finance? DeFi. Okay, so basically, let's say, let's say, what was the most entertaining thing in like Web 2? It was social media, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, or I don't know, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever you use, LinkedIn, and all that stuff. So that's great. That was the most entertaining part about like Web 2. Now we bring that same concept of that app, and of course it's live, and you can go ahead and try it, and we 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 integrate all these DeFi and NFTs and crypto types of like services into the product and enhance it further. Okay, so it's like a power app, let's say, for social finance. Okay, so it's a SoFi app. Okay, so I'll be joining them as a marketing officer and taking care of their stuff and strategy and product and stuff like that. So that was some personal news. I hope, yeah, you are excited as well. And if you would like to try, this app is available currently only in India right now, but because the concept of the app is like, it's like create and earn, watch and earn. Now, like, I mean, the earn part is active once you do KYC within the app, and then you can extract that value and convert it into fiat, it's only available for the Indian customers right now, but they have plans to go worldwide, like starting from LATAM, like Latin America, Africa. It's going to be like India, of course, like India is of course there. Then you have Europe and US, okay, and all these American countries and all that stuff. So I mean, the thing is, of course, you can go ahead and like download the app. Just go to you can try it nevertheless wherever you are. You can just go ahead and try it. Why? Because like I mean, if you start trying out right now, you're already ahead of the game. Okay, you will start earning a lot of followers, and I mean, you can build your community within the app. And once that earn feature is enabled worldwide, then you will be able to earn tokens, which is called Gari, and it's a Solana based token. But of course, like there are plans, there are different plans in the roadmap, in the product roadmap, and so on and so forth, which we'll be discussing. But anyways, so just to give you gist of that right now, and we will be discussing this in the near future as well. So if you just go to chingari.io, you can download it on any of your favorite app store that you have on any device, and you can start using it. It's like a short video content creator app, okay? And then you earn tokens by watching it, creating, publishing, and it's basically all about the community, giving it back to the community. Because I mean, it's challenging to use like Web3, Web2 types of services and all that stuff. So I mean, there's got to be some innovation, and I think this is the way forward. And they already have like around 50 million or something downloads, like just out of India. And what I like to say is, like, if you can sell something or if it works in India, it's like I mean, in the sense, like, let's say if you can sell something to an Indian, you can sell it to anyone else. But the thing is, as you see, like, they've been here for a while. They have 50 million downloads, some good review and all that stuff. And you can go ahead and use this app. Let me know how you feel about it, and so on and so forth. The onboarding process. If you see something you can improve, always just hop on to our Discord, and I mean, you can discuss all about it. And yeah, I mean, I'm super excited and stoked. So let's see where this goes. And yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's what we had to discuss. And thank you for listening, and have a nice Monday. Bye now.